everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Janine Firpo, and I am the author of Activate Your Money and a co-founder of Invest for Better. And we are really delighted that you're interested in what we're doing. So what we're going to do this afternoon, I guess it is for all of us, is go through what we do at Invest for Better. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what our organization is, what it means to be a member of Invest for Better, the kinds of value you get in membership, the circle experience that you might have heard about and what maybe brought you to this meeting. And then we'll open it up for questions and answers. And if we have a little bit of time left and you're interested, we can show you a very brief video of what some other women have said about going through the program. So let's start with Invest for Better and the circle experience. This is our mission, and you heard a little bit about that in the video. But really, our goal is to empower women in the United States and around the world to really feel confident around their money. A lot of us are afraid of our money. We maybe aren't the investors of our money. We have somebody else doing that. We want to really empower women so they feel confident as investors and that they know how to put their money to work in ways that will grow their wealth, and that will support them, their families, and create a better world all at the same time. So we are working with a lot of different organizations to try to make that happen. And we also put women into circles, which are our kind of investment club, to help us learn together, because we realize that it's more fun learning with other women, and it also relieves some of the stress and the burden around investing. So when you join a circle or you become a member of Invest for Better, it's a 1-year membership, and it's renewable. But what you're really doing is you are coming in often through a circle experience, which means you're joining with a group of other women, and you are learning together in over a period of about 6 months. We've developed a curriculum that is incredibly robust and really best of class. And we have not done this alone. We're actually a pretty small nonprofit, and volunteers do a lot of work for us. So a lot of our curriculum has been developed by financial experts, by financial advisors who help us create this material to then pass on to you. We've got if you took all of the courses that we have, it would be about 3 years worth of curriculum. We have a starter course for women who feel like they just really need to start understanding a little bit more about what they currently have, whether they have enough for retirement, what it means, how they can achieve some of their immediate goals. So that's a financial planning course, and that lasts for about 3 months. Then we have the way that many women come in, which is our core curriculum, and that is a 6-month experience. And I'll explain to you a little bit more about what we go through in that core curriculum. And then we have a series of about 6 or 7 at this point, deep dive courses, which are each 3-month courses that are more advanced and focus on topics like figuring out exactly what you could do in the public equities or the stock market, for example, how you could find values aligned investments there, or what does it mean to invest with a gender lens and really support women and girls using all of your assets if you wanted to. Or how can you use your money to support racial justice or climate change, positive climate change. So we have a lot of core curriculum. We also have something that we call the activation series, and these are talks that happen. We do 3 a month. One is just on general information of interest to our members, and our members are welcome to tell us what they want to hear about, and we will find speakers to speak on that topic. But we've had everything from financial intimacy, how you talk to a partner, spouse, or family members about your money, to cryptocurrency. What is it? How does it work? And would you ever want to think about putting your money there? That's a pretty wide, diverse range of topics. We've also started having 1 speaker a month come in and actually talk about an investment that you could put your money in today. So a lot of women have come to us and said, yes, but what do I do? Where do I put my money? Where do I put my money? And we can't tell you that. We're not financial advisors, but we can present possible options to you. And so we're starting to do that once a month. And then once a month, we have a woman who is an expert or a financial advisor who's just basically having open office hours, where you can come and ask any questions that you have about your investments, your portfolio, what you're learning in the course, etc. So we just did that this morning, in fact, and had a fantastic session talking about how you can perform due diligence and figure out whether an investment you have in the stock market is actually meeting your values. To become a member, we ask for, we're a nonprofit organization. We run a pretty tight ship, I've got to say. And we ask for a $125 donation for your first year membership. And it is a donation. $100 of it is actually tax deductible. And along with that membership, you get a copy of Activate Your Money, the book, because a lot of what we've developed is in terms of curriculum aligns with that book. The way the circles work is that they are facilitated by one or two leaders. Sometimes these leaders are financial advisors, sometimes they're not. Although a lot of our leaders have been financial advisors. They're generally small groups of women, from 8 to 20 women, who gather together, and you can gather either in person, which is how Invest for Better started, or on the web, which is where we went during COVID, like everybody else, or as some groups have done, they have hybrid meetings where some of them are in person and some of them are online. The curricular materials that we've created are really easy to follow. There are self-study components to each that you do prior to each meeting. And then once a month, you actually get together with the women in your group to talk about what you learned in the self-study, to do some exercise together, and to go deeper into the materials. And I can tell you that that really is the power of what we do. And it's the part that most women really, really value, is having that opportunity to just talk to other women, sometimes for the first time ever, about their money, and to learn from each other. And what we have learned, and what women who have gone through our programs have learned, is that we all actually know more than we think we do. We always think that we don't know very much. But when we actually sit and start talking and asking questions, we realize we know more, and other women have a lot to share with us. And it's a really powerful experience to learn this material together. So you meet once a month, as I mentioned, and then what we're doing is we're also putting you into a triad. So you get put into a small group with two other women. And between the monthly meetings of your entire circle, you'll meet with your triads just to keep the momentum going and to build closer community connection and accountability buddies. So that's sort of how the circle works. The core circle runs for 6 months, but you can stay in your triads for the entire year of your membership. And at the end of the first of your year, you get together one more time with your circle so that everyone can just check in and see how everybody did over the course of the year. Let's talk a little bit about the curriculum itself. The core objectives of the core curriculum, which is the 6-month course, is that you learn to recognize that you have the power and the ability to invest your money for both financial and social return. We are not talking about having to give up one for the other. We're talking about being able to get both. You should also feel much more confident in having conversations about your money and your investments with your family, with financial advisors, with friends, whoever it is that you need or want to have these conversations with. If you've been intimidated in the past or haven't known the right questions to ask, that will no longer be the case. You will also learn about opportunities and ways in which you can invest your money that make you feel great. And that is starting with your cash and how you can put your money in banks that are doing great things with your money. And then you will also leave this 6-month journey with something called an investment policy statement, which is a document that you'll be filling in a little bit over time that really helps articulate where you want to go with your investing. What is your risk appetite? How does that inform the kind of investing you want to do? How are your assets allocated across different asset classes? What are the values you want to start pursuing? What are the objectives that you have with your money? The themes that you want to bring up, and what will be your first steps? So those kinds of things will all be brought together through this course, and you'll walk away with a pretty solid feeling of the next steps you want to take. This is how the core curriculum runs from a month-to-month session. So in the first meeting, you will be getting oriented to your membership, all of the things that you have available, all of the resources that you have available to you once you become a member. You will also meet the other women in your circle, and you will have your first conversations about money and how money has impacted your life and your personal story about money. This is a really powerful and impactful conversation. In the next time you get together and meet, you will have done some exercises around your risk appetite. You will together do work in clarifying your values. If you're going to invest your values, what does that actually mean? And what values do you have to choose from? You'll understand that during the second meeting. And then you'll also start to put forward some of your high level investment goals, where you stand right now in terms of what you would like to achieve. The third meeting is a really important one because this is where you start to really get a sense of where you stand right now, what you're currently invested in, how you're currently invested, and how you may want to start shifting the approach you're taking to investing. And this is writ large, because even though we talk about values-aligned investing, to me, values-aligned investing is like a cake. You need to have the foundation of the cake, which is just solid financial and investing knowledge. And then the values piece is the icing on that cake. So a lot of what we do is help you be sure that you are focusing on the cake too. So how to make sure that the investment decisions you're making are solid, grounded, and are going to get you to the end game that you have as long in terms of your financial goals. The values alignment is another piece of all of that. And we really explore that in the fourth and fifth meetings, where we dive pretty deep into looking at your public investments, your cash, your bonds, your stocks. What are options, and how could you possibly think about investing those differently? What are actually investments out there that you may want to consider putting your money in? And how would you start thinking about making decisions about whether you would put your assets in one particular investment or another? And then following that, we talk about private investing, which for a lot of women, it's an area you maybe haven't even thought about or heard about. You've maybe heard about angel investing, but you might not know a lot about it. We talk about that. We talk about all of the other ways that you could potentially invest in agriculture, in water, in clean energy, in real estate, and how you can think about those other investment opportunities with a values lens. And then the last meeting of the 6th series brings it all together. We talk about financial advisors, when those are valuable, whether or not you're happy with yours, how you could find one that is more aligned with who you are and what you're seeking, and then how and you want to take next steps and what those might be. So that's basically what we do in this 6-month course. It's a lot, but we have set it out so that it moves at a pretty nice pace. When you sign up and become part of a circle, there are some expectations for you and some things that we would hope you would do to make this a powerful experience for yourself and for the other members of your circle. And the most important one of that is to actually show up, to participate actively, to do your pre-work. We get that it's hard to find the time to do work and to call things out. We've made the pre-work pretty simple. It's usually less than an hour, only about an hour a month. The meetings themselves tend to last about an hour and a half. And then you have maybe another hour with your triads each month. So you're looking at maybe a 3 to 4 hour commitment per month to this effort. But we ask you to do that, and we ask you to try to really show up to your meetings, because the quality of the conversations is better when women are consistently there and when they've actually done the pre-work. We also really hope that as a result of going through this, you make a commitment to move some of your money into alignment with your values. And we've had many women who have made very significant strides in just 6 months doing that. And then when you have your first meeting, you will be establishing with your circle some ground rules, things like confidentiality and trust and no selling. This is not a place for women to come and sell their financial product or their financial services. This is a place for us to be able to talk confidently with our peers. So those are key expectations from you if you were going to participate. This is just a slide that shows a little bit more about the ground rules that I just mentioned. I won't belabor it, but do know that as a member of the circle, you have a right to pass. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. This is not about sharing anything about the monetary wealth that you have, the value of what you have. This is really about having higher level conversations about your money. So this is not a place where women feel intimidated or feel like they have to say something that they don't want to say. That is not what we're doing here. The way that each of the meetings tends to flow is that you start out in your entire larger group of 8 to 20 women, and then you break down into smaller groups, often of 4 or 5 women, so that you can have more intimate conversations and maybe do work together in the meeting. It's a better way to build bonds, and it also gets women more comfortable speaking more freely about the issues that are important to them. And then you'll come back to the full meeting again. This is not exactly how every meeting works. Sometimes you'll go into small groups a couple of times. Sometimes you'll stay in the large group the whole time. But just in general, we tend to have both larger group as well as smaller group dynamics, breakout rooms, that kind of thing, and other activities to keep the meetings engaging and interesting for everyone. After each of the meetings, as I mentioned earlier, you'd have a triad meeting once a month. You also will be getting, once you sign up for Invest for Better, you start getting weekly newsletters. Those newsletters will tell you about news that's percolating in the impact investing space, news about Invest for Better. It will let you know when new deep dive courses are being offered, when we're having different guest speakers coming, et cetera. So all the things you would want to stay abreast of as a member. And you will also have access to a platform that we use called Mighty Networks. Some of you might have heard of it before, but we use it. It's a great space in terms of being able to hold all our curriculum. It's easy to navigate, and you can go there and find the resources that you need. If you miss an activation session, because I recognize that if we have somebody talking on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning and you can't come, it happens all the time. These sessions are always recorded, and we always keep them on Mighty Networks, so you can go and listen to them later and when you have the time. When your 6 months of the core curriculum are over, you can take a deep dive course if that's what you want. Maybe your circle is so connected that you all say, and this has happened, we all want to stay together and keep talking to each other once a month. You could do that. There are lots of options for what you could do, either collectively or in smaller breakouts of your full group or as an individual, to keep the learning going in whatever way works best for you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, at the end of 6 months, you come back together with your entire circle and you talk about how it went and what you did and any stumbling blocks you may have come upon. But it's also really an opportunity to celebrate and to recognize how much you've learned along the way. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand the mic back to Jasmine to let her take us on a little bit of a view of that Mighty Networks platform and what sits out there.
Thanks, Janine. So as Janine mentioned, there's so much content and interaction that we offer, and you might be wondering how you actually get to access that. Your primary interaction in the first 6 months typically is with your circle, so you really form a tight-knit group amongst you, but there's a broader community that we also connect you to, and I want to share with you a little bit about that. When these circles first started, they were meeting it in people's living rooms, and they had paper handouts, and then the pandemic hit, and so we sort of had to reinvent how we were providing access to a lot of what Invest for Better offers. And that slowly grew from, a little site we had that would provide leaders with the tools they needed to share with their circle, to a full-fledged membership site, which we now host, that will connect you not just with other members of your own circle, but with the entire Invest for Better network, which is over 500 women from all across the country and internationally as well. So it's not something that you have to spend a lot of time doing, but I'm going to explain what we have available in case that interests you. It's going to be where you access some of the basic materials for the curriculum, but it's also a place where you can really connect and engage in lots of other ways. So if you go to the next slide, Janine. Janine mentioned a site called Mighty Networks, which we've chosen to host all of this content and this community engagement platform. And there you can find all of the curriculum materials that Janine mentioned, not only for the core curriculum, the 6-month course, but for these deep dives and everything that we offer when you're enrolled in that. We've got event listings, so you can peruse what we've got coming up and sign up, and then connect through the platform to those Zoom events. We've got interactive conversations happening on a variety of topics at any given time. We've got things that we're posting that we want to share with you, and so forth. And then we also have a private group set up for your circle. So if you want to continue the conversation that you started in your meeting, you can do that with just the people who you've kind of developed that close relationship with, if you don't want to be having those conversations out in the broader group. And then we've got other information about other member benefits and everything else that comes to you when you become a member of Invest for Better. Next slide, Janine. So this Mighty Network space is really like a private social network. And so the format, the layout is somewhat familiar if you use Facebook or LinkedIn, but it's just us. There's no ads, there's no politics. It's really a place where you can focus on engaging with the material and with other members of this community. If you like to use your iPad or your phone, there's an app that you can download to easily access all of this. It's a very visual interface, and it's really a pleasure to use. And again, it can be something that you just go to once a month to get your pre-work, or it can be something you go to every couple of days if you want to continue the conversation with other members. Next slide, Janine. And then you can also keep track of your progress through the curriculum. So set up sort of as an online course where you'll see each of the steps of the preparatory work before each meeting. You can check it off when you've done it. You can watch the videos right in there, and it just makes everything really easy to access. Next slide. So what now? If you are ready to do this, the next step is to go to our website, and I'm actually just going to pop this into the chat, to our member registration form. And this is really just sort of a declaration of interest and intent. You're not going to necessarily be matched with a circle right away. You don't even need to pay right away, but really what you're doing is introducing yourself to us, giving us your email address, and then getting some more information about next steps. So don't be afraid to initiate it. Even if you're not 100% sure, it's great to get on the list, and then we'll be sharing additional information about circles that are opening up, looking for members that you might be interested in connecting with. So the registration, once you submit it, will send you follow-up information about making your donation, either the standard $125 donation, or some women choose sort of a sliding scale based on the amount of assets they have, which is wonderful if you can do that. We also have a donation platform platform for that. So if you move forward and make your donation, you can get set right away on the Mighty Networks platform, start coming to events tomorrow. So some people really like to jump in and do that. Others will probably wait closer to the start of their circle to really engage. And for many of you, matching with a circle is going to be an important step. So some folks have been invited by a leader who they know, who happens to be leading, and they're all set. But many women come in not having a circle that they're connected to yet. And sometimes they're interested in connecting based on geography. Sometimes they're interested in other things. And what we're doing is putting together, and we're just about to launch a web page, a private web page, where all of the open circles that are looking for members right now are posting information about themselves so that you can go through, see what's there, see even when they're meeting, see if that works for your schedule, and then reach out to them to make that connection. Once that happens, your leader will share with you the exact schedule for the meetings, and that's different for every circle. We anticipate that most of them are going to have their first meeting in April. And so you'll want to get going with your preparatory work, reserve an hour to just get into the book and do the exercises prior to the meeting. Janine mentioned that a copy of Activate Your Money is included with membership. And if you live in the United States, we will send you a physical hardcover copy of the book. It does take about 10 days to arrive. There's an electronic version of chapter 1 available on our website if you can't wait to get started. So you can look forward to that. And we're here every step of the way, with support and resources. And as I mentioned, you can start connecting with the community and attending events even before your circle launches. And then you get that for the full year. Once your circle's done, many women go on to take these deep dive courses. They, continue pursuing things that they're interested in community with other women. Some circles continue to check in. So there's lots of things to do in that second 6 months as well.